women suffering an unspoken trauma of war. Nightly news begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. With all that's going on in the world right now, millions of televisions across this country were tuned in to one thing today. It was a pitcher's duel, meaning, in this case, a world-class pitcher trying to save his career and reputation in front of a committee of Congress. Roger Clemens says he hasn't taken performance-enhancing drugs, no matter what the evidence. If he's lying to Congress, he could go to prison for it. It was a bizarre day of questions and revelations. Why doesn't Clemens' story match his close friends? Why did Clemens' wife use the drugs? And chiefly, who in this case is telling the truth? America's pastime was partly on trial in that room today. We begin our reporting with NBC's Tom Costello.
Do you solemnly swear that...
In Washington, under penalty of perjury, an extraordinary public showdown.
It's impossible to believe that this is a simple misunderstanding. Someone isn't telling the truth.
With all the emotion and anger of a baseball superstar fighting for his reputation.
Let me be clear. I have never taken steroids or HGH.
From his opening statement, New York Yankees pitcher Roger Clemens was defiant.
I've been accused of something I'm not guilty of. How do you prove a negative?
His chief accuser, Brian McNamee, just one seat away.
And I was once the personal trainer for one of the greatest pitchers in the history of baseball, Roger William Clemens. During the time that I worked with Roger Clemens, I injected him on numerous occasions with steroids and human growth hormone.
Last month, McNamee gave investigators steroid syringes and bloody gauze from 2001 that he claims still have Clemens' DNA. McNamee says he also injected fellow Yankees Chuck Knobloch and Andy Pettitte, both of whom have admitted it's true. But Pettitte told investigators that years ago, Roger Clemens told him that he, Clemens, had also used performance-enhancing drugs. Pettitte was supposed to appear at today's hearing but was excused. Clemens insisted his good friend, Andy Pettitte, is simply wrong.
I believe Andy has misheard, Mr. Congressman, on his comments about myself using HGH, which never happened.
Today, many lawmakers divided along party lines over which man wasn't telling the truth. Democrats accusing Clemens.
It's hard to believe you, sir. I hate to say that as you're one of my heroes, but it's hard to believe you.
Everyone in this audience.
Republicans accusing McNamee.
Mr. McNamee, you are a drug dealer. You may, in the end.
That's your opinion.
Who today acknowledged lying over the years to investigators and reporters and getting his Ph.D. from a Louisiana diploma mill.
You're here under oath, and yet we have lie after lie after lie after lie. I don't know what to believe. I know one thing I don't believe, and that's you.
Roger Clemens agreed to testify today to clear his name. But with Debbie Clemens sitting behind him, Clemens read a statement from his wife admitting that McNamee had injected her with human growth hormone in 2003 for a Sports Illustrated photo.
He said it was not illegal and used for youthfulness. The next mid-morning, he said he had some and would be able to give me a test shot.
In all due respect.
At times, the anger boiled over.
Mr. Chairman,
is there anything else you want to add?
In all due respect, this is nothing but innuendo. Your committee asked on...
With attorneys accusing lawmakers of trying to ruin Clemens' reputation. All the while, the IRS and FBI investigators who have pursued the government's steroid investigation were sitting in the audience. The question now, will either man face perjury charges if he is found to have lied to Congress?
No sane man would subject himself to that unless he deeply believed he was telling the truth.
Baseball's biggest scandal in 100 years. Today, it all came down to a battle over memories and allegations.
I'm not proud of what I've done, and I'm not proud to testify against the man I once admired. To those who have suggested that I take some personal satisfaction in bringing down Roger Clemens, let me assure you, nothing could be further from the truth.
No matter what we discuss here today, I'm never going to have my name restored. But I've got to try and set the record straight.
And somewhere inside it all, the truth. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
As you can tell, this was an extraordinary day of testimony, and interest in this stretched way beyond just baseball fans, and because of that, we asked our friend Bob Costas from NBC Sports to join us. Bob, you know I'm a fan, and this guy, Clemens, is a gamer. He once said that his method of drowning out the noise in Yankee Stadium is to concentrate, think about his mother, washing hospital floors at night as a second job to support him as a kid. Yet this gamer put himself in a vulnerable position today. What were you looking for?
Well, I was looking for something from him that could convincingly refute McNamee's testimony. And in addition to McNamee's testimony, and people have been saying from the start, what incentive would he have to lie? He ran a tremendous risk if he lied. Repeatedly, the federal investigators and Senator Mitchell told him, tell us only the truth. We're not looking for anything additional. You don't get brownie points for providing bigger names or additional juicy details. So McNamee had no apparent motive to lie, where clearly Clemens has a motive if he's not telling the truth, and that motive is to protect his reputation. Now, on top of this, when we see what's in Pettit's deposition, what's in Knobloch's deposition, the contemporaneous account that Pettit provided to his wife, Laura, none of this looks good for Clemens. Clemens is right when he says you can't prove a negative, but the evidence and the testimony mounts against him.
Now, these days, we've got guys going to the Hall of Fame whose numbers I don't count. I make that choice because I believe they were juiced. How does the game, was this the low point, you think, for the modern game? Is there any way of knowing how does the game recover?
I think there's widespread, more than suspicion, understanding that hundreds of players, yet unnamed, maybe they'll never be named. The reason they escaped detection in the Mitchell report is that their trainer in their city wasn't a source for Senator Mitchell and his committee. People understand that this was widespread. It may have involved at one time or another more than half the players in the game over an entire era. And they view many of the achievements of that era as suspect, if not bogus. And the real shame is that there have to be at least some players who were clean or essentially clean who now have that same cloud of doubt hanging over them. And you're in a situation where the greatest hitter of the generation and the greatest pitcher of the generation are now widely viewed to be steroid cheats. They have their Hall of Fame credentials called into question, and at least the possibility, however remote, that either or both could go to prison.
Unbelievable. Well, all of this is why we wanted to talk to you. Thank you very much for stopping by tonight. To tonight's other big story, presidential politics. Last night, as you know, was a big night for Obama and McCain. They both won in Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. Does that make Obama the Democratic clear front runner now? Not if you ask Hillary Clinton. Our coverage on that from NBC's David Gregory.
All right. Barack Obama in Wisconsin today.
How's everybody doing? Nice to see you.
Already looking to November, arguing John McCain is a George Bush Republican on the war and taxes.
If you want the same as we've had in the last 7 years, then I think John McCain's going to be a great choice.
A sweep of the Chesapeake primaries last night has put Obama on an 8-0 run. In Virginia, he successfully sliced into Hillary Clinton's voter base, winning among women, while also capturing a majority of white men and dominating the black vote. Obama is counting on momentum, sweeping him to victory in next Tuesday's voting in Wisconsin and Hawaii. For Senator Clinton, the hard question is the nomination slipping away.
We go on. We're ready for the contests that are upcoming. There are hundreds of delegates that'll be in play on March the 4th. We are well organized and well positioned.
On March 4th, Clinton needs big wins in delegate-rich states Texas and Ohio, then Pennsylvania, April 22nd. Here's the math. According to NBC News, Obama leads in the hunt for the nomination by more than 100 pledged delegates. Obama advisors claim she can't catch up.
They're making the case that she can't catch up if this race stays close. The only way she catches up is if she starts blowing them out. And not only does she accrue those pledged delegates, but then superdelegates will start following.
On the Republican side, after a clean sweep last night, John McCain stole Obama's signature line.
I am fired up and ready to go. Thank you and God bless you.
The nomination all but sealed. Today, McCain gently nudged Mike Huckabee, who remains in the race.
Of course, I'd like for him to withdraw today. I mean, it would be much easier.
But nothing has been easy in this campaign as the contest now moves toward a decisive phase. David Gregory, NBC News, Washington.
And overseas today, we learned of the death of one of the world's most wanted terrorists. Few Americans know his name, but most of us know what he's accused of doing over the years. He's believed responsible for the deaths of hundreds of Americans. He was himself killed under mysterious circumstances in a Damascus bombing on Tuesday. We get the story from our Middle Eastern Bureau Chief, Richard Engel.
He was like a ghost, wanted by 40 countries, rarely photographed, only left one fingerprint. But U.S. officials say Ahmad Mognia was responsible for killing hundreds of Americans.
Mognia was the master terrorist. Before 9/11, he had more American blood on his hands than any other terrorist besides bin Laden.
The leader of Hezbollah's military wing, Mognia was responsible for some of the most notorious terrorist attacks of the 1980s and 90s, including the 1983 bombings of the U.S. Embassy and Marine barracks in Beirut, killing nearly 300 Americans, and the 1985 hijacking of TWA Flight 847. A master of disguises and a bomb maker, Mognia rarely slept in the same place twice, moving between Lebanon, Iran, and Syria.
He commanded for many, many years a secret arm of the Hezbollah that even in the Hezbollah itself, there were only few that knew about it.
Until Tuesday, when a car bomb killed him in Damascus. Today, Hezbollah's television station announced Mognia's death and blamed Israel. Tonight, the Israeli government has ordered its embassies around the world on high alert as Hezbollah prepares a funeral procession for Mognia in Beirut tomorrow. In Lebanon, they're already hanging black flags. Hezbollah says it will respond, an eye for an eye. Richard Engel, NBC News, Baghdad.
Back in this country, it's been a messy and awful, windy, rainy, ugly day in much of the northeast part of the country. Hundreds of schools were closed or opened late. Federal offices opened 2 hours late in the nation's capital, and flights were delayed at New York area airports for longer, in some cases, than 4 hours. Our meteorologists are telling us they're watching the next storm. It will dump snow on the northern plains tonight and tomorrow. A weather-related story next. The civilian chief of the Pentagon just got back from Iraq without a scratch, not knowing that of all things that could happen to the Secretary of Defense and what can be a dangerous job, he'd be felled by a fall. Here is the photo of a recovering Secretary Robert Gates back in Washington from Baghdad. He's walking home from dinner engagement last night when he fell on the ice. It hurt, but he slept on it anyway, called his doctor in the morning. Turns out it's broken, but as you can see, he's back at work. Billy Graham is hospitalized and recovering from surgery. He had an operation to repair a shunt in his brain to regulate pressure. He's resting comfortably in fair condition, we're told tonight, in Asheville, North Carolina. Billy Graham is 89 years old. Coming up as Nightly News continues on this Wednesday evening, on patrol along this nation's southern border, where they're tackling illegal immigration the old-fashioned way. And later, the thrilling ending for an unsung hero of the four-legged variety. As promised, we're back now with a story about the ongoing struggle to stop illegal immigration. We often hear about, in fact, we've done several reports about, the high-tech kinds of surveillance, motion detectors, drones, eyes in the sky. But tonight, our own John Larson shows us the deliberately low-tech patrol among one of the most remote stretches of our southern border.
Daybreak. Border Patrol agents prepare horses, which used to carry loads for drug smugglers.
I don't think he knows the difference. Well, I'm sure he likes the way we feed him better.
Together, they'll patrol border country inaccessible by any other means.
A lot of times we have the element of surprise because they don't hear us coming.
The horse patrols ride the Sonoran Desert south of Tucson, arguably the roughest, most dangerous border area in the country.
The patrols began back in the 1920s, hunting smugglers during Prohibition. They're heading out into country that really hasn't changed much since the days of the Old West.
Within an hour, they pick up a trail.
It looks fresh, Galen, but I'm not sure the age here.
They estimate they are 2 hours behind a group of unknown men.
I got some fresh rock kicks here.
Last year, agents arrested almost 400,000 illegal immigrants in this sector alone. That's 1,500 a day. The horse patrol's a key part.
They're crossing here. Yeah, they're crossing right here.
Meanwhile, a few miles away, another patrol has tracked 7 illegal immigrants. 3 were bound for Florida to pick oranges. 1 had been in New Orleans helping re-roof houses. All will be deported. Back out in the desert after hours of tracking, agents find a hidden bale of marijuana, and then others.
Just got to find them. It's like hunting Easter eggs, you know?
Over 300 pounds worth $250,000. The smugglers scattered and gone. Tomorrow, the horse patrols will do it all again. Figures of the Old West in America's newest border struggle. John Larson, NBC News, Arivaca, Arizona.
And from the American West to the canyons of Wall Street, a quick look at the markets. Solid gains today for both the Dow and NASDAQ at the end of trading. And when we come back, Ann Curry with the story of women half a world away suffering an unseen wound of war. We are back with NBC News In Depth. Tonight, Ann Curry reports on what people are always surprised to learn is called the deadliest conflict since World War II, the war in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, once known as Zaire. This so far has claimed an estimated 5.5 million people. Ann is with us tonight from the city of Goma. Ann, good evening.
Brian, good evening. In the chaos of this war in Congo, an epidemic of rape is raging. UNICEF says this is where the highest number and most brutal cases of rape in the world are happening. Tonight, one woman's story, and to protect her identity, we've changed her name to Fura and are careful of what we show of her face for fear of reprisals.
It's 2:25 p.m. and in OR number 3 of Goma's Heal Africa Hospital, the next few moments are critical for 18-year-old Fura. Doctors don't yet know if she will lead a normal life. Her womb is so badly torn she's lost bodily functions. 2 years ago, Fura says, soldiers attacked her family.
Who was killed?
She says, my mother and my father, they were killed as I watched. She ran but was caught by soldiers who told her, just as we killed your mother and father, we will destroy you forever. For 2 days, they raped her. There were so many men, too many to count, she says. I couldn't stand, and they left me for dead in the forest. Soon she found she was pregnant from the rapes, but her body was so damaged, she delivered a stillborn child, a girl. I wish she had lived, she says. Yesterday, with a prayer before surgery, Dr. Joe Lucy hoped to give Fura a new life. Today, as he examined her, Dr. Lucy felt the damage to her had been repaired.
The operation has been a success.
When Fura strengthens, she'll move to a nearby center, joining some 150 other women, learning to take control of their lives with job skills. Still, many can't go home, not only because of the war, but because they are rejected by their husbands, as rape carries such stigma. And after 10 years of war, here in eastern Congo, lawlessness and rape are still rampant. In the last year alone, tens of thousands of women have been raped in this province alone.
There are no rules left. So when you have no rules, then you have this kind of thing happening.
Fura is not vengeful, but grateful for the care she's been given.
What do you want for your life now?
My only wish, she says, is to serve God because he rescued me from that danger. I don't know how else I am still alive. I am still hoping for a bright future.
And 30 more women with stories just like Fura's are expected to be brought to the Goma Hospital next week, Brian.
And we thank you for your reporting tonight and for having the courage to tell their stories for them. We'll talk to you by satellite again tomorrow night on this broadcast. And by the way, a lot of people no doubt are going to ask how to help. And to that end, we've put some resources on our website, nightly.msnbc.com. Also, tomorrow, Ann has another compelling report, as we mentioned. Tomorrow night on our website, we've asked Ann to answer some questions which you can submit overnight online. We're back with more right after this. And we're back with that age-old question, who's a good dog? Who's the very best dog, in fact, at the annual Westminster Kennel Club show at Madison Square Garden? When we left you here last night, we didn't know the answer. It was a cliffhanger and a very tough field in the final round of the dog show. The final 7 dogs out of 2,600 in all. Then it came to the final moment, the decision from the judge, J. Donald Jones.
Thank you very much. May I have the Beagle?
Yes, the Beagle!
Standing ovation.
We have never had a reaction like this in the Garden.
Best in show.
And our winner for Best in Show, the 132nd Westminster Kennel Club, is the 15-inch Beagle.
How can you not love that moment? Uno the Beagle seemed to know exactly what was going on. A proud and noble and very happy Beagle, the first Beagle ever to take Best in Show honors. Snoopy tried to tell us for years about Beagle's superiority, but few of us would listen. And it occurred to us that in this exciting election year for humans, they made a little bit of dog history last night at Madison Square Garden. That is our broadcast for this Wednesday night. Thanks for being with us. I'm Brian Williams. We hope to see you back here tomorrow evening. Good night.